So before moving on to build our contact service, let's just quickly fix a few issues. So on our maps service, we haven't dealt with the situation where the location is going to be invalid. Okay, so to deal with that, if we go back to maps, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do some error handling. So I'm going to first of all say on error resume next. Okay, and then I will check if there's an error. If error.number is equal to 0, then there's no error. So we do what we just did earlier. Okay, else what we need to do, let's just get these two, and what we'll do is we will have error displayed in the first cell, and we'll clear the second cell. And then after that we will clear the error and we will just reset. So on error go to 0. Okay, so if we have somewhere in the middle some invalid locations, let's see what's going to happen. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so we got error there. Okay, so let's just get rid of that. So the other thing I had was, so if you remember, we, instead of making multiple calls to this function, we just saved it in a variable, but I forgot to change it down here. So when we save our output, we make another call to that function. So I'm just going to change it now. Okay, this is in the call calendar service. So the other thing I'm going to change is this bit here. So when we call the service, okay, with the HTTP object, we're doing it asynchronously. What that means is that we wait for the service to finish executing and come back to us. We don't need to do that because we're not actually receiving any response from the service. This is on our calendar service. We're receiving a response on our map service, so we're going to wait. But from the calendar service, we're not going to wait. So I'm going to change this to true. Okay, and then I'm just going to make a comment here. I will say async equals true because we are not waiting for a response. Let's just say otherwise change to false. Okay, so because we're not waiting for the response, this is going to execute straight away, and then that will, so after executing the send, this will execute straight away. It's not going to wait. Okay, so we need to delete that, and what we'll do is we'll delete that input file that we're sending to the service from the service side. Okay, so we'll delete this code from here, and then we'll go back to the server, our calendar, and then right at the end it is this file here, the Excel file. We're just going to delete it when we finish. Files, remove, and then we have Excel file .get ID. So another thing I'm going to change is when I go to the main module, at the bottom we have these two functions, so get calendar request Excel file name and get formatted calendar date. These two functions are really specific for the calendar service, so I'm gonna just move them to the calendar service. somewhere there. The last thing I'm going to change on the client side is I'm going to add a module. I'm going to call it config, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the base URL to that config module here. I'm also going to move this function here. Okay, so getting the base URL, getting the base folder, I'm going to move it to the config. So this really is a place to encapsulate things that differ from computer to computer. That's it. That's all the things I'm going to change on the calendar side. Just one thing I'm going to change on the server side is from the calendar service module, I'm going to just delete this base folder, because this base folder actually belongs to all the services. It doesn't belong just to the calendar service. I'm going to move it to the code module. Okay, just paste it there somewhere. So I think now we're ready to build our contact service. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.